Hello, you lovely Hammers fans. It's Nick from Claret and Booze Evening Ramble. Been busy for a few days, but still buzzing from the weekends. I really am. It's been nice waking up with a little bit of an extra spring in your step, and that's quite handy when you're as big as what I am. But I've had a little bit of a buzz on since the weekend. It's lovely, not just to witness your team win, but play brilliant as well. And win a game that we didn't expect to win. That was even better. But look, before we get into this show, please subscribe if you have not already. And don't forget, drop a like on the video. That does really help us. Got a few bits and pieces to cover today. Let's, first of all, milk that game at the weekend because we never know what's going to happen, against Burnley. We should go and beat them now, if momentum, I think we will. I think we're going to wipe the floor with them now. That's generally how I'm feeling now. But I'm gonna bask in the brilliance of that performance at the weekend. And there were so many things that were great about that. There really were. Now there's a story going around, which I'm going to believe because I'm choosing to. All right. So I've heard this from a few people now, and that is to do with Nuno's pre-match team talk. And he apparently, according to the story, which I'm going to believe because I want to, something inspired those players. All right. He replaced the magnetic checkers or whatever you call them on his tactics board, and he put pictures of the players when they was kids playing football on the board, and basically said, "Do you remember how you felt? How you used to dream of being where you are now. Do you remember that feeling, that drive, that desire? How much you love the game? I want you to get that back again." And look, I mean, he ain't got a psychology degree, but if he's done that, who needs one? Who needs one? And it all came together. Now, look, don't get me wrong. Putting the strongest the team on the pitch is always going to help because the players themselves know, as well as we know, what the strongest team is because we've been calling for this for a long, long time. The players know as well. So when they're being set up on a hide into nothing from the get-go, it's not going to inspire them. It's not in any way, shape, or form. But he got everything right. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. We weren't expecting that win. But it was so nice to we was dreading the team sheet, weren't we? Most of us were. And for that to be released and to see it and then not be dreading the game, be looking forward to the game, it was a new experience. Well, I've not had that for a long time. So much so that I watched the entire hour-long build-up and, yeah, no, it was just a brilliant, brilliant day. And how simple is it to just do the obvious thing? Clearly, we know what we're talking about as football fans. There you go. We do. On the whole, that would probably be the team that 99% of people would have picked there or thereabouts, So it does make you wonder what's been going on for the past few years with, and I'm going to include Moyes. When we had Souček and James Ward-Prowse in central midfield, Jedward, it was born under him. Moving on to Lopetegui, moving on to, Potter, and then at the very start, with Nuno as well. It took him a couple of games to realise, and it does make you scratch your head a little bit. But we've got there in the end. We've got there. Hopefully, Nuno has seen the light. Well, clearly, look, he has. I'll get the feeling that he kind of fancied that at the weekend. You saw it. I watched his pre-match press conference after the game, not before it, because I wanted to consume as much of the content around that game as possible. And he looked confident. He did. He had the bit between his teeth. I think he fancied it. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's been luring us into a false sense of security by he's sacrificed Leeds and Brentford. Maybe I don't know. Of course he hasn't. But no, we got there in the end. It was brilliant. I watched Match of the Day as well with Michael Carrick and Rob Green, and you had Michael Carrick's brilliant analysis of Potts. And some of the stills, that the way he went into how effective and functional Potts was for us and how important he was for us. Yeah, he's the missing piece. He really, really is. And obviously Fernandes was fantastic. Paqueta was brilliant. To a man, I think they were all great. I really do. Please, God, it continues. It would be good, I mean, we haven't had that before. Like I said it on the post-match review. We haven't had a performance like that for a long time. We beat Nottingham Forest. We had 15 minutes where we turned up and scored 3 goals. That was different. It was great. proper smash and grab, wasn't it? But this was different. We outplayed Newcastle. Second half, we sat back. We was 2-1 up. We could afford to at that point. And we defended well. They didn't really threaten us. Areola didn't have much to do, did he? So, no, I was quite... I'm getting tongue-tied today. I've got an ulcer on my tongue. Yeah, he didn't have much to do. So, I think... I think it was a very, very good day at the office. Now, I had a meeting earlier on, before I get into the next phase, with Hammers United. Gary was there. Dan was supposed to be there, but he wasn't available. Gio was there as well. Like a couple of YouTubers and all of the Hammers United lot. And we was talking about the march at the weekend. So there's a video coming at the end of this video, which you should stick around to watch. It's been created by Hammers United. It's brilliant. And if you do want to know the details of where to be pre-game against Burnley, before we do go and support the team and, enjoy another win where we pull out of the bottom three, we're going to be at Stratford Station by about 12 o'clock. Get there for 12, and the march leaves at 12:30. And, watch the video at the end anyway. But before I do, now look, I'm going to indulge myself here. And for the Everton fans that are in the chat, and for West Ham fans that are bored of hearing about David Moyes, now's probably the time to leave or scrub through a few minutes. But look, we've had shit for the past 3-4, longer than that. Ever since Moyes has gone, we've had an element of our fan base that have been hounding us. The mainstream media and these fans are all just as bad. Be careful what you wish for, Brigade. Now, look, we had it from a few Everton fans as well. Bearing in mind, the Everton fan base is like the West Ham fan base. It's split. There's some fans that like him, that will always love him. And there's a lot of fans that didn't want him and don't want him now. Now, what I'm going to do, as a reminder to people, bearing in mind, they've spent a fortune this transfer window just gone. And what he did at Everton last year, he did at West Ham. He's good at that. Back against the wall, I'll save you from relegation. But then it all changes. He gets his teeth into a team. He gets stuck into it. Now, Toffee TV, they're the main Everton fan channel, and they are incredibly pro-Moyes. Incredibly. So much so that David Moyes did his interview on there when Dyche was still manager, if you remember. I think they've actually got it pinned up on their channel. So he was kind of whoring himself out for the job when Dyche was still managing there at the time, I seem to remember. But yeah, this chap, and this isn't me being smug, not at all. I feel sorry for Everton fans. A lot of the Everton fans, well, all of the Everton fans that we see in our chat, they are supportive to West Ham. They are. But listen to the tone of this guy who is a massive David Moyes fan. And he's been starting to crack more and more and more. Just most Everton fans, or a lot of them, they're flipped already. But this is where they are. So we're going to go on, and I'm going to do a little watch along because it's quite cathartic for me at the minute. And maybe a few of the fans that are out there that are still pining after this fucking dinosaur, maybe you should watch it as well. All right? Anyway, let's get into it. So,
second half, we were absolutely dreadful. Like
I'll take that back because I didn't have the audio on. Right, 1 minute. About there.
as bad as anything under the last three managers. Genuinely, just kicking the ball away in the strikers 60 yards up the pitch, losing the ball in our own half in dangerous areas. It was just, I don't know how to explain it. How a team goes from dominating the game to that point. I just don't get it. I really, really don't get it. And we will come on to the subs in a minute, but obviously there's just so many moments that compound it. I've talked before this game about goals, and our goal was absolutely superb. I mean, Njai
was a bloody good goal.
Picked the ball up, ran at their team, and it's an absolute wonder goal. So it's not like a team that we've created, and it's a wonder goal.
A moment of individual brilliance.
But after that, it was like, Grealish hits the post.
Sound familiar?
And then it's a great ball over for Barry, and he should put it away. And we've had a few of those moments in their box, not as clear cut as Barry's, where big opportunities to like see the game out. And we haven't taken them, and everyone just seems to panic. Everyone just seems to panic in the team. And it's so, I don't know, it feels so un-Moyes like, but at the same time, maybe
denial,
it's
mate.
A taste of like Moyes as he gets older. He's become desperately safe. When he came in,
right, the game has changed since Everton first had David Moyes. The Premier League was different. There was a couple of good teams in the league, so you could shithouse and play shithouse football, and the brand of football that he played, and you could survive and do well some years, a lot of the times as well. By doing the bare minimum, basically, being very cautious. The game has moved on. It's moved on. Moyes hasn't changed. That's the trouble. He has not changed.
When he came in January, there was absolutely there was nothing we could do but be brave and try and win games, and we had to, and we did.
Saving from relegation.
There was no way we could
back
sit back and let teams dominate us. There was no way we could be passive in games. We had to be the aggressive team to go and win games of football. We had to be clever. We had to be in people's faces. But this season, I'm afraid, it's not good enough, because we've become really just a passive football team who allows other teams who seem to be desperate to win things and desperate to get up the league, and we're just like, oh yeah, it's all right, it's fine, and I don't get it. I don't see any hunger, and the manager sets the course of that. I'm a big advocate of David Moyes. I always have been, but no one can be blind to what we're watching at the moment. This is dreadful from the manager. Absolutely dreadful. The way he's got us playing, and the safeness in his subs, and his lack of belief in some of the players who sit on the bench is bordering on embarrassing. It really is bordering on embarrassing. Barry,
remember James Ward-Prowse and Thomas Soucek in midfield with Fornells and Lanzini just sat there looking on in Soucek's worst ever season, but he still played every minute.
He's an idiot for getting booked, because the minute he got booked, he gave himself an excuse for the manager to take him off. And Barry hadn't actually been playing that. He'd been playing all right, bordering on well.
Right, for those that don't know what happened, Barry, who is their new striker, he hasn't really been given a clean run in the game. Now, all Everton fans, I've been keeping an eye on their channels I have, and they're all complaining about their strikers. They haven't got strikers. The board have let them down. The strikers are shit. Beto's crap. Barry's crap. We had Haller that Moyes couldn't make use of. He left us, went to Dortmund, absolutely smashed it in the Champions League, started breaking records. We had Skamaka he couldn't make use of. The only striker he could make use of was a bloke that wasn't a fucking striker, and that was just an absolute battering ram in Antonio, who we love, but he was a cheat code player. He was just, there's no one else like him. You could hoof a ball to him, he'd fight and batter three defenders, win a flick on, go and chase his own flick on. It's a cheat code player. Strikers need to have chances crafted for them. They just do. Moyes ball doesn't do that. He doesn't get the best out of strikers. So you can blame your strikers all you want. They're going to struggle under him.
And then the miss makes him stand out. And then the booking is like the cherry on top. Like, there was no need to do that. And the minute he did it, he had a target on his back. And what the manager...
Oh, yes, one more thing. Barry, young striker, just brought him in. Terrible miss. I mean, it was harder to fucking miss than score. Like, he missed from a yard, went over the bar. What did Moyes do? He just hooked him straight off. Killed him. you remember that with Odebeko, what he done against Man United? He just hooked it. It was 1-0 up. You know, the player's obviously struggling with confidence. He's missed an absolute sitter. Moyes just fucking hooked him straight off. Brutal. And Beto came on and was no better. Was no Beto.
Can't wait to bring him off. And this is where the manager, I think, needs to have more bollocks. I really do. This is where the manager is playing it safe. And for what reason? For what reason? Beto is not good enough for this football club. I've said it since day one. He is not good enough for this football club. And the minute the kid, Barry, whether you think he's good enough or he's not good enough, the minute you see him warming up and he's got no tracky bottoms on, the lad's head would have just gone west. It would have gone absolutely west. 50 whatever minutes was, and you're off the pitch. And he hadn't actually been playing that poorly. Yes, it was a terrible miss. I appreciate that. But he hadn't been playing that poorly. And the minute Beto come on, woof, gone. Any forward line we had was completely eroded. Completely eroded. And that mentality from the manager is just...
Do you know something? Beto was doing well for him last year, wasn't he? If you go back to what this chap was talking about at the start when Moyes came in January, Moyes couldn't afford to play Moyes ball. He had to be brave. He had to go for games. He had to try and win games. So they was pouring numbers forward. They was creating chances. Beto was thriving. He was scoring goals. They've gone back to Moyes ball and Beto's turned to shit because chances are few and far between now. He's probably just playing tight against the centre. I'm not watching every game of Everton. I don't see him. But I imagine the way he's got Beto playing, or Barry, is probably with their back to a defender, you know, hoofing the ball to him, just getting them to be a foil. Just a guess.
Going all the way through the team. It's going all the way through the team now. The next sub is an abomination. It's an abomination. I'm sorry. Don't care what anyone thinks. That sub is an abomination. Was he looking to play special teams? Was he trying to nick the game off corners or free kicks? You have got Dibbling on the bench. You have got Carlos Alcaraz on the bench. It's mad. It's absolutely mad to bring on a player that you've completely discarded and him to be your next sub. I find that utterly that's diabolical in my eyes. What David Moyes has done there, absolutely diabolical, that substitution, when you've got that talent. I've said it, anyone who watched the lives today, 4 o'clock, I said it on that. What the summer window is becoming increasingly more embarrassing by the game because of the way these players are being treated. It's embarrassing. You know, to take Barry off. Listen, he was on a yellow card, but you tell him at half time, don't do that again. That will cost your team if you do that again. Don't do it. Cut it out. But then give the lad trust. Give him a little bit of trust. Give him trust. You left him better on last week for 75 minutes. Give the lad a little bit of trust and say, go on, don't be stupid. I'm going to trust you. Don't do anything stupid. Be clever. And he took him off. He then brings on a player that clearly is finished in his eyes, and he brings him on the next sub. And there couldn't have been a worse substitution. There really couldn't. And then after that, again, the subs are too late. Carlos Alcaraz comes on. He makes an absolute mess of the breakaway late on. But straight away, you can see what Carlos Alcaraz wants to do. He takes Jake off again and puts James Garner at right back. What's the point? Just start James Garner at right back, for God's sake. Just start him at right back. This idea of just like, well, we'll just stick it on a right back because we might want to score a goal now. It's ridiculous.
Not 6'7" though, is he?
Absolutely. The substitutions are just getting worse and worse every game. They're getting safer and safer and safer. And I don't know what's happened to Moyes. And I know he was always a safe manager as Everton, but he's backing himself. He's like Homer going into the bush. He really is. Because when he needed to be brave in January, he was brave and he turned this team around. But now it's like, oh, we'll be fine. Just don't lose the game. Don't lose the game. Don't lose the game. And by doing that, we were just awful second half. We didn't do anything till like the last 5 minutes when we had that breakaway, which we're really, if Carlos Alcaraz picks up his head and puts a ball through, he gets, I think it was Beto 1-on-1. Or if he uses that Beto as a decoy, he can go 1-against-1 on the defender. But I just found that I found that a really low moment for Moyes, just in terms of he's been increasingly getting more and more negative, and it's weird. It was a Ghana gay, sorry. It was weird. It was. I was watching like that. It's just becoming.
I'll tell you what. I watched the post-match interview with Moyes as well, and he pretty much put it on the players. That's what he did. He said we started well, which they did, and he said, then for the last part of the game, we didn't play well at all, as if he's completely absolved of all blame. They took in Die off, and rather than bring on Tyler Diblin, who they've just spent 45 million on, they brought on what's his name? Can't even think of his fucking name now. A player who used to play for Burnley. He ain't played for him for ages. Is it McNeil? Brought him on rather than using Diblin. So and Jai is their star player, even though they've got Grealish. He's a tricky winger, and he scored their goal. He got injured, came off, and they replaced him with Dwight McNeil. And they've got Garner, who's an attacking right back, but rather than play the attacking right back, he sticks with the giant at right back in James O'Brien. But where this comes from, this fear, Declan Rice has spoken about this. When he left West Ham to go to Arsenal, there's an interview out there where he says what was clipped and what was put on social media was I'm seeing a side of football I've never seen before. But there's another part of the interview as well where what he was talking about was spending all week preparing for the opposition for how we can hurt them. With David Moyes, it's not. You're spending all week learning about the threats of the opposition and how they can hurt you. That's where the fear comes from. He instills terror into his teams. You've got to instill belief into your football teams. Moyes doesn't do that. He's not brave when it comes to football. He's just not. Simple as.
It's just becoming more and more negative, and it's like, we've got players like Grealish on the pitch. I mean, what would? I'm not saying Jack Grealish had a great game or anything, but what must Jack Grealish be thinking? He's just come from what is probably the bravest manager out there to David Moyes, who wants to play it safe in every game, just wants to play it safe. And yet for the first half an hour, we were brilliant. We were absolutely brilliant for the first half an hour. I don't think we played much better football that first half an hour.
You scored your goal, mate. That's what happened. You scored your goal.
And to finish the game or to play the last sort of hour or 55 minutes in that manner was just appalling, absolutely appalling. And I don't know I don't think anyone can defend him after that. He's clearly played for a draw and got a draw. But every single one of our players just lost their heads. Absolutely lost their heads because the panic had set in, and David Moyes didn't help the cause. He didn't help the situation at all. He started, as I'm saying, he started the panic because instead of calming the players down, I thought he did the opposite. As I said, I wouldn't have took Barry off. I would have let Barry play on and just trust him for 5, 10, 15 more minutes just to see what happened. I don't know. David Moyes might come out and say that was a great point. I mean, by the end of the game, it was a great point because we were absolutely terrible for an hour. So in hindsight, it's a good point. But Everton should have been, we should have been 3-4-0 up in that first half. It's no it's no joke to say that we really could have been 3 or 4-0 up in the first half without any issue. But the problem is we can't put the ball in the back of the net, and this is going to be the problem. And if we're not, and if we don't, and it's like chicken and egg, isn't it? It's a chicken and egg with the centre forwards, and it's a chicken and an egg with the subs, and not bringing players on. Like again, Dibbling. I mean, penny for his thoughts. Well, the mail and roll. I mean, what's you know what I mean? It's like, what is going on? 1 minute you're the flavour of the month, and he's raving about you. The next minute, where is he? It's mad. It's absolutely mad. I just honestly.
Right. Well, that is enough of that. Okay, that was very self-indulgent of me. So I'm sorry for the Everton fans that are in here. I'm actually not taking the piss. I'm feeling your pain. I felt that pain myself as a West Ham fan for many, many years. And like I said, that chap, anyone who watches, one of the most level-headed supporters you're ever going to see, a big supporter of the... He's still not like calling for Moyes' head now. He's not. He will be. But he's not yet. He's not. Because Moyes will break your spirit the same as he breaks the spirit of his players. So that is a little reminder. Because we can't go back to Moyes. We're not going to go back to him. We shouldn't want to go back to that. We shouldn't. So for all those be careful what you wish for merchants, look what they've got. They're not even a year into David Moyes. He joined in January. Do you know what I mean? He did what he did. He saved them. Now they owe him. Now he's got his claws into him. They backed him. He spent a fuckload of money in the summer. He's hardly using the players. He's not putting his trust in them. They've got an old, slow team. Tarkowski got a new contract and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So, not great. Just makes you realise maybe we're going to be all right, okay? Everton will be all right as well because their owners won't fuck around. If he doesn't pick up, they'll get shot of him. They will get shot of him. He'll be gone. He'll be a fart in the wind again. So, no more. I did say the last I was going to talk about David Moyes was on that post that I did. But you know what? I've had it rubbed in my face and everyone's faces, not from Everton fans. I'm talking to West Ham fans here, and I'm talking to mainstream media. They've been rubbing our noses in this ever since he's fucking gone. I'm glad David Moyes has gone. I'm glad he's gone. We never saw football like that. Well, we haven't seen football like that for 2 years or 3 years. Now, Nuno isn't the most expensive manager in the world. He's not. Little bit cut from the same cloth as Moyes, but from what I saw there, brilliant. Could it be the same as what this chap's talking about? Our backs are against a wall. You've got to go out. You've got to just attack. You can't. That's what you've got to do. I don't know. We'll find out. But one thing's for certain. Like I said, Nuno wouldn't have been my choice when he came in. I'm happy with him now. I like him. But the type of manager that I want. Never going to get him. But that's not. Neither here nor there. But Nuno, I really like him. I think he's a good guy. Certainly seems a nicer chap than what David Moyes was to me. David Moyes is a fucking narcissist. Like I said in that post-match interview. It's all the players' fault. Always. Never his. It will never be his fault. The Sunderland fans gave him some right shit because they can't stand him. So, yeah. Okay. Like I said, bit of a self-indulgent piece. Everton fans, I feel your pain. I will never say, be careful what you fucking wish for. And if any channel wants to do a show with me, just one, and we'll do a coronation, and I will hand you the donkey. You can take the donkey, and you can start doing player ratings. You haven't got it. You can do it yourself. But I'm just saying, I could hand it over to you. Because you're going to want it. You're going to need it. It's going to make you feel better when you slap a fucking donkey on his head for doing what he's doing now and doing what he's going to continue to do. Okay? Right. Anyway, that is it from me. That's a half an hour show. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, I'm going to play the outro from Hammers United, which does give details of the meet on the weekend. I'm going to be there. Loads of people are going to be there. It's going to be a massive one. There's some quite special things happening. So we're going to get there early. We're going to do the march. We're going to have a beer, go and support the team, watch us batter Burnley, pull out of the relegation zone. It's going to be another lovely weekend. Speak to you all soon. Well, I'll speak to you later on this week. Come on, you once. Shall I play the right one? That was fucking smooth, wasn't it? No, I've done it again.